Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. Today I'm going minimal. We are talking just getting started with mascara and a very natural, glowy look. It's all I use for my full face. Two brushes and brushes I don't one brush I normally don't use. I'm gonna show you how you can color correct, still get a natural look, and still get a really quick looking like skin kind of makeup routine for the minimalist if that is your preference. Keep watching if you want to see how I get this look. Be sure to like and subscribe so you see my next tutorial, and thanks for being here. Okay friends, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to introduce you to 3D foundation from Maskcara Beauty. So I'm gonna do a minimal, natural look, still getting great coverage because I'm gonna show you how to use a color corrector if you need it and still get natural, not heavy makeup. So my entire face is in this HAC stack, okay? My foundation, lip and cheek. I'm gonna show you how you can use it for eyeshadow as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you're new to 3D foundation from Maskcara, oh gosh, that is scary looking. Let's try that again. Oh my gosh, that piece is just wonky. Okay, I know it doesn't matter, but I won't be able to stand looking at that in the mirror. Okay, rewind. Let's go ahead and introduce you to 3D foundation. So if you are new to this makeup, you might not realize it's a cream, okay? All of them are creams, and the magic of creams, one of the many things I love about cream makeup, is that you can get a very natural look, meaning when I'm done, it's still gonna look like my skin, except it's going to have covered what I want covered, let my skin texture shine through, and it's just gonna give me dimension because I'm gonna contour with a cream as well. So I'll kind of talk you through the process as we start. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to prime my face using our setting spray. Okay, so this is Stay Setting Spray, and I'm just gonna spray a little bit on my Perfector sponge. I'll show you what this is used for, which is a must, but I'm just going to kind of prime where I really need it, and it helps moisturize and get my skin kind of ready for that glow. Okay, so while that's drying, let's talk creams. So in this palette, which you don't have to pick out these shades, I recommend that you don't, because I'll be real, I did my first time without using an artist's help, and I picked all the wrong colors. So they're extremely deceiving. They look very yellow and very orange in the 10, but I promise they don't look anything like that on your skin because of how little you will need to use. They're unlike any other when it comes to pigmentation. Like, you're not gonna be swatching them that heavy. You're gonna be blending them out, and then they look completely different. Okay, even that is not even completely blended because, let's be real, I can see it. So the highlight in Maskcara Beauty is technically what you would think of as a foundation or a concealer, but we don't necessarily have a concealer. We use certain shades within the range in order to give you different levels of coverage. So if you have redness or dark circles like I do, then I will color match you to a shade that you would need to kind of color correct, and then you can use other shades to match the skin or bring it back to matching, or then lighten and brighten to highlight. Okay, so that's why it's called highlight. In traditional makeup world, highlight is shimmery. In mascara world, highlight gives you coverage, okay? So that is step one of your 3D foundation, is highlight shades. And these are really important that artists will color match you to those. So my color match request is in the description box below the video. Click on that. It tells me everything I need to know about your skin, how you like to wear your makeup, shoot me your selfie and then I can color match you from a photo. That's what I do. Then we're gonna go into contour. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how we don't have to layer. Mascara is kind of like one of a kind in the fact that our contour color, so the contour is what gives our face sculpt, dimension, and that three-dimensional look. Our contour gives coverage. So there's no other foundation that really is made up of a highlight and contour and they both give coverage. You don't have to layer. Now, on a normal basis, when I'm not going for a natural look, I totally put my highlight everywhere. Then I come back in and contour over that. And what that does is gives me additional coverage in any area where I laid that contour. So today I'm gonna show you that you don't need to. You can put contour where it goes, highlight where it goes, blend it out, and you are golden. It's actually a much faster way. So if you like a minimal, natural, fast way to put on your makeup, I could do it in under 3 minutes. So let's start off with contour. So this is my contour here. This is the Detail HAC. This is the brush I recommend if you are new to contouring or if you have any issues contouring. I find it the easiest for beginners because of this magical end right here, or you can use this end. Really, our brushes are so versatile. You can kind of play around with them and find like how you like to use them, but I'll show you how I like to use it. And so let's go in with contour. Okay, so I'm gonna use Astoria. I'm gonna kind of pounce it in there. Our contours are dry, so you kind of have to use a little bit more pressure to get it on the brush. And then I'm just gonna contour, pretty much think of a 3 on the side of your face. So if you're new to contouring, we go along the hairline if you want to make your hairline look shorter, or your forehead look shorter, or it will just frame out your face. So even if you have a short forehead, you don't have to contour there, but it gives definition to your face. So I'm going to go under the cheekbone. This is what's gonna lift our cheekbones and give us that three-dimensional look. It's gonna carve those babies out. And then we're gonna go under the jawline again to define our jaw and create that shadow. So I'm just going to go under and I'm gonna try to not blend as I go, which is what I normally do, so that you guys can see where this color goes. So you'll see how easy it is. I just simply pressed it right underneath that cheekbone. So my general rule of thumb is think of an imaginary line from about the mid to top of your ear to the corner of your mouth. And you're gonna press right along that line and you're gonna stop right about the corner of your eye, okay? Because when we blend that in, it'll naturally go in a little bit, okay? So right under that cheekbone's gonna give you the maximum lift. So I'm gonna go ahead and add to the other side. Same thing. I like to do my cheekbones first for some reason. Okay, and again, this is gonna give coverage on this area, so we do not have to highlight there. Okay, and then I'm gonna press it along my forehead, along my hairline. You can do as little, as much as you want. I'm gonna try to kind of lay this on a little bit thicker than I normally do because I'm not blending as I go, so you guys can see placement. Okay, under the jaw. Oops, I got some on the side of my face. That's okay. The one thing with creams, there are no mistakes. Creams blend out so easily. Okay, another reason I love this brush is this straight edge where I can literally just get a little bit, and I'm not gonna go crazy, but I'm gonna show you can even slim your nose using contour and make it even look a little bit shorter. We're just playing with light and dark. We're playing with shadows. It's amazing how you can trick the eye just by using a little bit of shadow. Okay, so there you go. We've contoured. I'm gonna come back and blend that after I show you the highlight. Okay, so you'll see I have 3 different highlights in here. Not everyone is matched to 3. Most people just have 2. I use a color corrector. So if you can see, I have a lot of blue, purple around my eyes. I've got some redness, some unwanted friends I need covered, and I like to add a color corrector for additional coverage. It gives me better longevity as well. So I'm just gonna use the BBF brush, which is the best blend forever brush. And I'm gonna use this small end, and I'm just gonna pick up the smallest amount. And when I'm saying small, the key to using, I'm using Mango as a color corrector, and you'll see it looks very orange in the 10. If it's looking straight up orange on your face, you're applying too much. You need the smallest amount. I barely touched the cream, and I'm gonna use this anywhere I'm red. So I'm red right around my nose here, and I'm just gonna kind of fan that. Can you see how it already took away that redness there? Okay, another one. Now that bad boy is gonna need a little bit extra, let's be real. And so is those right there. I need to pinpoint that. Okay, I got a little bit of redness right between my brows. So I'm just using the lightest touch, and really it just takes the smallest amount. What we're doing is we're matching the darkest tones there. And what makes this makeup so different, so if you have darker tones on your face and you apply a lighter traditional foundation, sometimes you can get pretty good coverage. It's definitely where you can use a lighter shade on it. Most of the time what it does is it pulls it ashy or gray. So with this makeup, you can't put a lighter shade on your skin anywhere that's darker. It's not gonna last. It's actually gonna just wear off super fast. So what we do is we use darker shades to color correct, and then we brighten from there. So I explain more in my color match email that I send you when you send me a match. So I have hyperpigmentation right there. I need extra coverage there, so I'm just gonna press on a little bit. I also like to use the warmth of my fingers because it kind of helps it melt in a little bit better than a brush. Now, there I've gotten way too much. I can tell, so I'm just gonna use my damp perfector and kind of get off the excess. Okay, let's go back to color correcting under the eyes, around the eyes. I'm gonna use that Mango to take away those blue purple tones. Okay, I'm also gonna use it on my eyelids because I have a lot of veins there as well. And it changes the color of eyeshadow when I don't color correct first. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a more precise brush for these guys, and I might have to go over them a couple times. I like to put it on, okay, it looks like it disappeared, right? And then I like to let it sit. I've got quite a few right now. Happens to all of us, right? Okay, I'm gonna kind of let that set. So now it's time for our main highlight shade. So everybody's matched to at least one main highlight that matches their tones, or then will kind of be used with that color corrector to bring it back to matching the neck. That is the goal, right? So here's my main shade. I'm gonna use the Best Blend Forever. I'm just gonna barely tap. You can't even really see it on my brush. And I'm just gonna start kind of pressing that on ever so lightly. Okay, so the highlight goes pretty much everywhere you didn't contour. So along the jawline, and for a natural look, you can just swirl it on and you'll see it still looks like my skin, but I'm getting coverage on this side, okay? And even though I use that color corrector, it's not shining through. It doesn't look orange, nothing like that. So this brush I recommend if you like a very natural look. It's definitely not for full coverage, but again, like I'm showing here, you can use it with a color corrector and be able to get, color correct still with it. So my one thing is you don't want to swirl so much that you are moving that color underneath. So kind of press on. You can also press this brush under as well. If you feel like you're starting to move the color corrector, just kind of press as well. And you can also flip over to the small side and use it for detail area. Anything smaller like that. Okay, so I contoured my nose, but I'll show you how we're gonna finish up the nose in just a second. So I haven't blended out my contour, but you can tell it's kind of blended a little bit just from me adding my highlight. Okay, so I went ahead and did all of my main shade, and I feel like I've got good coverage. And anywhere that is looking makeup-y, we will fix that once we get to the perfector step. So now that my contours and my highlights on there, I'm gonna kind of go back to this brush and I'm going to really make sure I don't have any harsh lines. So you can go and kind of swirl anywhere the highlight and the contour meet in order to kind of blend that out. I find it takes me longer with this brush and that motion than it does with this, because this one is so dense. All you have to do is kind of press and pull. Okay, so I'm gonna pull that up into my hairline and then down, and it's already blended out. So this takes very little pressure, and it's my favorite, especially blending out contour. So I'm just gonna kind of flick my brush up. You can even just press along the top of where your contour was. I like to kind of leave this line more defined, but you can just simply swirl this brush along that edge and make sure it's blended to your liking. Okay, so press. I find the biggest area you really want to make sure is blended is right here. We don't want any like harsh edges. So I can tell I got more contour on this side than this side. It's just personal preference depending on how natural or how contoured you want it to be. But if you want them, you know, obviously you want to match, you can easily just blend that out more. These contours blend out so easily. I find the biggest issue is blending too much. So if you find yourself blending too much, try this brush, because this brush, if you just sit there and do this, you're gonna blend it all away and you'll have to add it back. Okay, so that is pretty much just color corrector, highlight and contour your main shade. Most people are wanting that bright under eye look, so I will color match you also to what I call an accent brightener. So this will be quite a few shades down from your main shade, and this is what's going to give you that pop, that highlight under your eyes and the center of your face to kind of bring attention to your eyes. So this is what we traditionally think of as a highlight step, but it's all considered highlights. So I'm just going to gently tap my brush in there, and we really want to kind of just concentrate that right on the side of the nose, since we contoured all the way up to that line, and then in this little triangle. Now, if you are not mature like me, you can totally take this all the way out to the outer corner, but if you do have fine lines that you're wanting to avoid, just take it out to that point and stop. And what I'm doing is I'm just pressing this color on until it's bright enough for my liking, and then I will bring it back down to looking like skin once we perfect. So I always do the center of the forehead. Again, I'm pressing this and I'm doing like an upside down triangle to brighten there. I'm also gonna do my chin. This is especially important if you have a lighter neck and you want to bring in those lighter tones. You can also even brighten underneath that contour to bring in lighter tones in your neck as well. So if you feel like your contour got too low or anything like that, there are no mistakes with creams. They blend out. They don't set in place like liquids so that you have to hurry and get everything perfect before it dries down. They don't do that. Okay, so then I'm going to take a little bit down the center of my nose, up in between my brows, in between those two contour stripes. Okay, and then Cupid's bow of my lip. And I guess I better do the other side too, huh? Okay, so now that we are highlighted and brightened, I like to always blend at this point to make sure everything's where I want it to be. So here's where we bust out the trusty perfector. So with this makeup, the perfector is like a must-have, because if you were to look up super close, I have harsh lines. I have some areas where the makeup looks like makeup. And with creams, it doesn't have to. It can totally look like skin if you press it in and remove any excess that's sitting on top of the skin. So this bad boy is damp, barely damp, not leaving any water or anything. It just feels cold. And what you do is you just simply pounce it all over the skin. Okay, and what this does is it's going to take away any of that excess, is gonna press it in, so it's gonna look like skin again. So under the eyes, I feel like is the most important place to do this, because you just added that brightener, and I used a color corrector, so I've got a couple of layers there. This is the key to a natural look for sure. And if you nose contoured, making sure you don't have visible stripes on either side. If you don't, you're good to go. So also, since creams don't set, they can migrate as your face moves. So anywhere that you are afraid you're gonna get creasing, you really wanna make sure you are using this really well in those areas, because if you do have excess, it can settle in your creases. So I always do my smile lines under my eyes, and then I go in with my powder. So on the second level, I have my vanilla dust. And what I do is I'm gonna swipe in for these areas, and then I'm barely gonna tap on for under my eyes, because if you don't know, too much powder under the eyes will just make you look older. You wanna keep that as little as possible, okay? I'm gonna swipe in again, and I'm gonna put some on my eyes to kind of set that cream. Okay, and then I'm going to, let's go back. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some of my contour shade, and I'm gonna use this end of my detail because it's a very dense end. It's great for detail work. I'm gonna pounce into that color, and I am gonna use this as eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm just gonna sweep back and forth, and I'm gonna define my eyes. This is my favorite for like a quick everyday look when I don't want to have to spend too much time. I'm going to use just what's in my palette. Now we do have eyeshadows that you can add in your palette as well, but the contours are an easy everyday. See how easy that was? Okay, so let's finish up the face real quick because I'm talking way too much as usual. Okay, so my favorite for next is lip and cheek. So the lip and cheek, my favorite for like a very natural glowy look because I like a glow. We do have mattes, satins, and then this is a gloss. So depending on your preference, but I'm gonna go in with Desert Sunset, and I'm gonna go in again with this end of the brush. And I'm just gonna kind of tap it on. You can swirl. I have some hyperpigmentation there that I already covered, so I don't want that to come off. But oh my gosh, I love this color. This has always been one of my favorite shades. Okay, apples of the cheeks on up along that contour. There you go. Now I'm gonna grab that same brush that I spot treated, which here I like to go back and look and see if I need to add any more now that I'm blended. And it looks pretty good actually. Okay, you can also just kind of take a touch of powder those areas so that they're not going anywhere. Okay, I'm gonna take that same brush though, and I'm gonna use the bigger end, and I'm gonna use my contour again, this time as lip liner. Oh my gosh, I totally just went into the wrong color. Oh. Contours make great lip liner because they make your lips look bigger because it creates like a shadow around them. I mean, you can do an entire lip kit just with our highlights and contours. But our blushes also are lip colors. So I'm gonna go in with Desert Sunset. There you go. Okay, we're almost done. I did put Bella bronzer in the HAC stack. So Bella is also a cream. So what I do is I just simply take a little bit Bella, and I'm just gonna warm up, not where I brightened. So I brightened in the middle, but otherwise high points of the face where the sun would naturally hit. So I'm gonna kind of avoid, you can do this before you brighten. I'm just gonna kind of avoid, and again, I like to press so I'm not moving anything underneath. Okay, now the final color of the 3D foundation is going to be an illuminator. So here is where we add the glow, the highlight. You would think of the color with some sparkle in it, right? So this one is rose gold. It's actually, this one is a perfume. So we do have a multi-purpose perfume that happens to have rose gold illuminator already in it. So that's kind of my favorite multi-purpose product, even though all of ours are very multi-purpose. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that on the perfector sponge, and I'm gonna press it right on the upper cheekbone and add that candlelit glow. You can add it anywhere you want. I like to do it corners of the eyes and brow bone. Okay, so I'm gonna spray one last time. If you like a matte look, you would powder after this step. I like a glowy look, so I'm gonna stay spray the very last. And there you go. All right, there we go. Here is the finished natural look with only 8 shades. I'm pretty proud of myself. If you guys are new here, you might not know, I normally use a triple decker. Look at the size comparison. So it's possible to get a very natural, minimal look with very few shades, but the possibilities are seriously endless. If you need help with getting a color match, picking out your shades for the very first time, shoot me your questionnaire below and I'd be happy to help you. Just tell me what you want and I will hook you up. I appreciate you guys being here and thanks for watching. Love you.